So think about a scale of 1 to 10, and it's really hard to put numbers to this, but, a 10 out of 10 is, "I feel great walking." Then I can take 20,000 steps with you today, no problem. Walking feels very safe, secure, balanced, effortless. Both legs really, truly feel like they've got me. A 1 out of 10, there's just pain with every step. Somewhere in the middle is there's imbalance. It's like a little uncomfortable. I just feel like disorganized. Instead of smooth movement, it just feels like uh, a series of controlled falls, is essentially what it is. Janet, okay, notice the limp. Sherry, 2. Karen, 4. Let's see what we got. Sherry, right foot flat to the ground, doesn't roll properly. Great observation. Awesome. Okay. So we're just trying to gather some information about how the sum of our body is working together, because that's what walking is. It's the majority of our joints and muscles creating motion. And we're looking at that under a microscope, just very light, casual observations. Nice. Ananda, great observation. Very disorganized and wobbly. Okay. Now let's get into our routine tonight and see if we can make a change in that. So we're going to start off tonight with, you guessed it. Would it even be a better hip challenge if we didn't work on the feet again for the third night in a row? I don't think so. So I want everybody to meet me on the ground in as comfortable of a position as you can. I'm going to create some room so I can lay back. Give me 1 second. I want everybody to meet me on the ground. It would be very helpful if you had your strap and a block, yoga block, a foam roller, pillow, something to squeeze in between your legs very close by. All right, so meet me on the ground. I'm going to give everybody about 10 or 15 seconds to meet me here, and then we're going to start our exercise. Let's see. Nice, Robin, left leg in balance. Good observation. Amy, calves feel too tight after walking. Back of legs and hamstrings, Marlene. Okay, a lot of observation with this group. This is great, everybody. Probably paying attention to things maybe we don't normally, which is really the first step of being aware without trying to control stuff. Okay, let's start out by straightening our right leg on the ground. Right foot points up towards the ceiling. Lift the left leg off the ground. I'm going to put 1 minute on the clock, and we're going to start off with counterclockwise circles. Nice, big, slow motion. Now, this is the third day in a row that we're doing this. So yeah, you're probably going to be sore. These muscles are going to be talking to you already. But notice the nervous system change. Do you feel any more in control and connected with this ankle today compared to literally 2 days ago when I had you first do this? And it was probably like a total shock to your body. What the hell are we doing and what's going on? Breathe, and let's get the ankle to move. You're doing great. If you want more of a challenge, you don't even need to hold your leg up. Your own hip strength can hold your leg up, but baby steps, you don't need to do that. Now, switch the direction of the foot. Now we're going to go clockwise. Nice, big, slow circles. Relax your face, relax your breath. Be mindful of your cadence and your speed. No one part of the circle is faster than the other. This is where we develop neuromuscular control again. The foot that was probably more floppy is probably going to be harder. The leg that limps, it's probably going to be the more challenging side. And the more even this feels, the less of that limp is going to happen. Now, let's point and flex. Point the toes down and away from you. Pull the foot back. Third night in a row, don't be afraid to get those toes involved. Really accentuate that toe motion. Wake up the entire arch. Pull and flex and stretch those arch muscles back away from you. Point and flex. Point and flex. You're doing great. And excellent. Let's switch sides. Left leg straight out, foot points up, right leg off the ground. interlace your hands together behind your leg, and let's start to do nice, slow, big foot circles from here. Clockwise. The foot is going to move out to the right. Notice how nothing in my body is moving with me. This is just about the foot learning how to be a foot again. Easier said than done. Some of you with TMJ or grinding issues might also notice you're clenching your jaw. That's probably your go-to when the nervous system gets overloaded, hence why you're having those symptoms. Every exercise, you might need to tell your jaw to relax. Face relaxes, tongue relaxes. Let's breathe and move. Good. A little bit more. Pay attention to the cadence. Doing great. And switch the direction of the foot. Nice. Now we're going counterclockwise. We're not going fast in any area, not whipping through it. Big, slow motion. Your body's only going to let you move as far as you can control it. So breathe. Don't force something that you can't control. And let's reconnect, one movement at a time. I wish I could see everybody's videos. Hopefully we're not just sitting down, lounge chair, margarita, hanging out while I'm doing all these foot circles. Hopefully we're together on this. Keep it going. Nice, slow, big circles. And notice if this is any more available than the first night. I'm sure there's still an imbalance between right and left leg, but are we starting to close that gap a little bit? Even a couple percentages? Do they feel a little bit more on the same level and page? It's okay if not, but we're just looking. Okay, now point and flex. If you're having knee pain, it's because the thigh muscle is being asked to support the knee. And if the thigh muscle can't support the knee, this is going to be very uncomfortable. So maybe you need to lower the foot, pull the leg in a little bit closer, whatever you can to maybe relax this muscle, but that will change over time. Keep your point and flexes back and forth, nice and slow. Why does the knee hurt when we do this? Well, all of these muscles help control and stabilize the knee. So if the knee doesn't really have access to these supporting muscle structures, you might feel a pain symptom because we're using these very weak muscles and there's no support with the knee. You're also probably going to notice this is very hard for you and these muscles are exhausted. Those tend to go hand in hand with each other. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and relax with both feet flat on the ground. Okay, I want everybody to watch me on this. So both feet are flat on the ground. And remember how last night we did that little test of slowly leaning to the right. We feel our body weight on our right pelvis, then slowly lean to the left. Then we feel our body weight on our left pelvis. I want everybody to do that just a couple times till you can get an orientation, a sense of where is middle? Where is the middle of your pelvis? And that is our neutral. If your pelvis starts to rotate over towards one side or the other, you're trying to rotate the pelvis and the spine, which is not what we're trying to do. That's compensation. So be mindful of that. I want in this next exercise, your pelvis to stay as middle grounded as possible. Now, step one, everybody move your right foot back a half step. So not a lot, just back a half of a step, and move your right foot into a high heel position. It's almost like I'm wearing high heel shoes. Toes are on the ground, heel is off. From here, I'm going to put 1 minute on the clock. Let's lift the left leg and then set it down. Lift the left leg and set it down. Really simple, but it might not be easy
if we've lost stability and control. Lift and set. Ideally, this is simple. The weight of the pelvis stays in the middle because the body is stable. If this is an unstable exercise for you, even laying on the ground, this is going to feel like your weight's going to shift to one side, the foot's going to cramp. All of these muscles are going to start to do compensatory motion. Meet your body where it's at, do what you can. My spine isn't moving with each rep. I'm not arching my back. I'm asking my left hip to be a left hip again. And the muscles we're using right here are the same muscles we need to use when we walk for stability. So if this is hard, this probably explains why walking is no longer a simple function anymore. Now, relax, bring your right heel to the ground, right foot lines up with the left, and now we're going to switch. You can't really see it too well, but I'm going to take my left foot, bring it a half of a step back. I'm going to move my right leg out of the way real quick. Left foot moves up into a high heel position. And now, 1 minute on the clock. Lift the right leg up and down. Ideally, this should feel exactly the same as the other side. But most of you are going to find, whoa, that's different. And it's in that difference that we need to close the gap. Because if this is what's happening without our bodies really moving much, our entire body weight supported on the ground, what's happening when we're walking? All of this stuff is not working, so that's why things feel not great walking for long periods of time. Yeah, it'd be kind of weird if the foot wasn't cramping. If you were in a 10 out of 10, if you're not a runner, if you're not doing 15,000 steps a day pain-free, these muscles are underutilized. So I think there's going to be a lot of cramps and there's going to be a lot of instability. The pelvis is going to move over. And this is just how we're starting today. This will be different when we're more stable. So again, remember the intention today. Somatic tracking. Just observe what's happening. Okay, now we're going to do this one more time each side. All right, both feet back into alignment. Right foot steps a half step back. Right heel lifts up and lift the foot. 1 minute. Left leg lifts and sets. Lifts and sets. In a way, I know cramping doesn't feel good, but what do you think that's telling you? Maybe this is the first time these muscles had to have directly be used today. Maybe they could use a little bit of love, a little bit of TLC. Probably. My question is, and my professional curiosity here is, I wonder what happens when this is easy for you. I wonder what it feels like to walk. I wonder how long you can walk. I wonder how great walking feels. No, Michelle, there should be just a slight little arch in your lower back. The spine's not moving just because we're lifting our leg off the ground. Everything is still. We're just allowing the hip to move without anything trying to compensatory. We're not grinding our teeth. We're not rounding our shoulders. We're not flexing our abs. We're not tensing up our back. Breathe and move. Interesting. Lori noticing left hip is the weak one, but right hip is cramping up. Because if there's a problem on one side, there's a problem on both sides. No problem in the body exists in isolation. Okay, switch sides. Both feet lined up. Left foot half step back. Left foot comes up onto the heel, onto the toe, high heel position, and a minute of right leg lifts. Take your time. Breathe through it. I have never, in my career of helping people like this, I've never helped somebody resolve imbalance by focusing on one side. If one side's overactive, it means the other side's underactive. If the right hip's moving weird or not really moving at all that much, the question is not if the left side's affected. The question is, how has the left side compensated for this problem for days, weeks, months, or years?
So many of you are feeling a lot of sensation. Breathe, feel it. Let's not make it mean anything. This is just your system coming back online. If you're hearing audibles, snap, crackle, pops, whatever that is, that's the body trying to move tissue that probably isn't moving too well. And that will change once efficiency starts to happen. It might be muscle bellies rolling over each other. It might be tendons, whatever it is. As long as it's not a painful audible sound, then we're okay. But if it's painful, take a break. Okay, excellent. All right, no more lifting. We're just going to quickly touch base on the exercise we did last night. Now, remember, this isn't about allowing your pelvis to rotate to the right or to the left. Keep your pelvis neutral in the middle. Lift your right leg off the ground. Place it on top of your left thigh. Using your right butt muscle, press the right knee away from you. We're not shifting and tilting the pelvis. We're not rolling over. We're not flattening our back. We're just asking your hip to be a hip again. So press the right knee away from you. If this is a very easy, simple exercise for you, try the progression, where you just lift the other leg up off the ground in a 90-90 position. But regardless if you did the progression or not, notice tonight, is this exercise any more accessible than last night? Any greater ease getting into it? Any more comfort staying here? Any range of motion change? Just lightly observing. Keep breathing and stay here. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Feel the sensation in the hips. Allow it to be there. 10 seconds left. And beautiful. Now switch sides. Again, pelvis stays neutral in the middle. Left leg comes up on top of the right thigh. Using the left butt hip muscle, press the left knee away. If this is simple and very easy for you, try the progression. Lift the right leg into a 90-90 position off the ground. Nice. Someone says that, yeah, it is a little bit easier. Elizabeth, same pain on left side. That's okay too. This is why we're not judging. We're coming back to the same place. This is one of the best things about being consistent is when we get a routine that works and we're consistent, it's like coming to the same place every day. And if you've ever been to the same park every day for a year, you notice all the little nuance and variation in the seasons. If you're going to a different place every day, there's no familiarity, thus there's no learning. There's no seeing how things change over time. Yeah, Veronica, if you do a progression on one side, do the progression on the other side. Absolutely. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, here is what we are going to do next. Now, ideally, we're going to take this strap. I've got a simple buckle strap. You might have to do a little configuring to tie it up around your legs. What I'd like is for a strap to be tied up around your legs, just tight enough to where the knees are about hip width apart, right? So notice my strap isn't so tight. My knees are closer than my hips. My strap isn't so loose that my knees are wider than my hips. I want to try to find what is a strap distance that if I'm standing above you, yeah, my legs are about aligned. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not aiming for perfect. We're aiming for better. So I want everybody to put this strap on. It's just slightly above the knees, and it's basically keeping my legs in alignment if I'm going to push out. Once you have the strap set up like that, I'm going to give everybody about 20, 30 seconds or so. I want you to then place an object, something you can squeeze between your ankles. Your yoga block, your foam roller, a pillow folded up in half. Hell, a shoebox will work. So we have a strap around our knees and we've got an object in between our ankles. I'm going to give everybody about 20 seconds to set up the leg position. Once you're set up with this equipment,
You're just going to lie on your back again. 10 seconds, we're going to start the exercise. Okay, here's the exercise. We are going to do two things. Step one, press your thighs out into the strap. So your knees are going to press outwards. The second thing is we're going to squeeze our ankles together into this object between our ankles. We're going to hold it for a second or two and then relax. Press the knees out, squeeze the ankles in, hold it for a second or two, and then relax. What I want you to do is do that simultaneously. Press the legs out and the ankles in, and relax both together. Engage both together, and relax both together. Now, this is a very simple exercise, but that doesn't mean it's easy. What this exercise requires is both hips to work really well together. Both hips, knees, and ankles. However, many of you are going to notice there's like this wobble when you go to relax your legs or when you press out. That's your brain trying to figure out which side to do this with first. So here's where we have to improve neuromuscular communication. Take a deep breath. Relax your abs. This isn't a lower back exercise. Soften your entire upper body, and like a volume dial, slowly press the legs out and squeeze the ankles in, and then slowly turn down that dial and relax. Turn up the dial, squeeze and press, and turn down the dial.
Yeah, Lori, you notice when you relax, your legs jiggle. So Lori, remember, you were wanting that lateral motion earlier on in the workshop. This right here is the foundation of lateral motion. Kelsey, I want you to try half as hard as you think, as half as hard as you are. If there's knee pain, it's because the hips aren't stable yet. So scale down the intensity. If you do need to sit this one out, you can sit it out. And if you don't want to do this one, you can always go back to the butt squeezes we've done for the past 2 nights. I want you to engage your glutes. This is a glute exercise. So everybody, the first 2 nights was us just trying to neurally activate the glutes. Now we're going to put them to work. Ideally, you're feeling both butt muscles, both hips turn on. Because if I was to take this strap away and you were to do this exercise, both legs would externally rotate. That's what the glutes are designed to do. And it's also what your hip flexors are designed to do. So recognize we're actually going after the glutes and the hip flexors, how they actually work to stabilize the hip together. This is a very underrated exercise. It's deceptive. Somebody could look at you and it looks like you're doing nothing. This is actually quite challenging and sensational. So breathe. It's your first time doing this. Let's not go for a huge swing here and a home run. The goal is to talk to your legs again. Why this can be so helpful, aside from so many neurological benefits, it has been proven that isometrics, so exercises without movement, but exercises that activate, that's what we're doing right now. We're contracting and holding muscles without movement. Isometric exercises have been shown to strengthen the body in meaningful, measurable ways. Well, if you're somebody where movement hurts, Isometric exercises are such a valuable tool for you to start reestablishing neuromuscular connection and strength and activation without going to do deadlifts and without doing squats yet. So this is one simple little backdoor hack into begin strengthening all of the soft tissue structures in the hip, pelvis, and legs. Breathe and squeeze. If it hurts, maybe we're trying too hard. Try half as hard as you think you should. And if that still hurts, try half again, cut it down in half so you're only doing 25% as much as you think you should. Close your eyes, and I'm going to try and do my best to not talk over the next minute to allow you to experience this. Face is relaxed, shoulders and jaw relaxed. Let's let our hips be hips again. One squeeze at a time. You're doing great. Hopefully, 4 minutes in, hips are starting to show up. That doesn't mean evenly yet. That's going to take some time and consistency. Now, you can either do this with the object between your ankles. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. If it's already there, then you can just leave it there.
Where now you've got two choices. You can either do 2 more minutes of this exercise lightly and slowly, or you can join me on the progression. Press both legs out into the strap at about 20% of your strength. So we're not looking for Hercules trying to break whatever thing is holding our legs. Press out enough until you can lightly feel both hips work. Keep pressure on the strap. Lift your hips as high as what feels comfortable. And then come down. Lift. And come down. Breathe and lift. I don't care how high you go. I don't even care if you're just thinking about lifting, but you're not even doing it yet. Listen to your body. Relax your abs and just allow the movement pattern. Give your brain a chance to figure out, how do we start communicating in movement patterns again that are balanced? And sure, one side might be working harder than the other. Let it. What are we going to do? Lean over to one side, rotate the pelvis, and then feel even? No. Just focus on going slow, breathing, and lifting.
Notice if these bridges feel any more accessible than they did night one when I offered this to you. Do you feel a little more in control? Do you feel like you can get a little higher? Do you feel more muscular activation behind your hips? Just observe lightly. Yeah, Diana, that's a good time to stop. Just breathe. Try to sit here and settle with this exercise. And remind yourself, we do this motion getting up and down out of a chair all day long. These are our big hip muscles. This is a safe exercise. And we're just breathing and moving with most of our body weight on the ground. It can be very triggering for people to use their hips when they've conditioned their hips to hurt anytime they use their hips. So this is also safety appraisal. Nice. Ananda, I might have found my glutes for the first time ever. Beautiful. All right, everybody take a break. I want you to slowly get up off the ground. Meet me in a standing position. Nice job. That was not easy. Simple, but not easy at all. Great job, everybody. Okay. So now that we're standing, I'm just going to kneel and talk to you because I don't want to be cut off with half of this. Standing up with both feet pointing forwards, facing me. Take your hands, curl your fingertips, arms down by your side. Pull your shoulders back and raise both arms out to the side. We are going to start off with slow forward arm circles. You can stand up and do this, or you can sit down, sit in a chair, whatever feels more comfortable for you. We're going to practice really slow, big circles. Elizabeth, it makes sense that you're feeling the lower back area, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe the lower back is the weak link when it comes time to move your hips. And it's also possible that you're feeling your lower back because the hips probably haven't been able to support you in some time. That'll all change the more consistent we are. Everybody take a big deep breath. This is not an ab exercise. We're just getting our shoulders to support our pelvis and our hips a little bit by activating them. Keep the circles as smooth and as big as you can control. Nice. Lauren, can feel my glutes, especially after that, 20-minute setup. That's great. I love that. Now, flip the palms face up and reverse that circle. Keep breathing. Stomachs relax. Feel your hips start to support your shoulders here. You're all doing great. Keep it going. Don't bring more to this exercise than you need to. Breathe. You can do this without tensing up and panicking and wincing your face. And you will be strong enough to do this one day and this feel really effortless. You'll get there, I promise. Just keep breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job, everybody. Now I am going to join you standing. Let's try to scoot this back so you can see as much of me as possible. Okay. We've got 2 more exercises. Standing up, shift your body weight forward so there's weight in your toes. Then shift your body weight back so there's weight in your heels. Go forward and backwards a couple times until you can feel your full foot. Keep your full foot on the ground, no lifting the heels up or letting the feet lift up. With your full foot planted, arms forward, pretend you're sitting back in a chair. Only sit as low as you can control. For some people, it's just a little bend, and that's okay. When you're here, again, shift forwards and backwards. Make sure your center of gravity is balanced throughout your foot. And maybe a balanced foot means we can bend our legs a little more. Some of you might want to challenge this and bring your hips down to knee level. I don't care how low you go. Just do something that allows your legs, shoulders, and back and hips to work together. And breathe. Shoulders don't need to be shrugged up towards the head. Soften the shoulders. I need you to find your calm strength. Whatever sensation this is weakness leaving the body. So say bye to it. Welcome the sensation. You will learn to love this over time. Everybody, take a big deep breath. Hold it at the top. And a nice, long, slow exhale. And stand up. Now, what I'd like you to do is, as you're standing here, check in. What does that feel like? Standing up right now. Go back to how it felt some 8 exercises ago. Do you feel more in your body? Do you feel invigorated? Do you feel more calm? Maybe a little bit of both. How's your balance? 50-50. Do you feel more muscles holding you up? Maybe before it was a collapse. Maybe we were just feeling mental health, stress, anxiety, tension, whatever it is. And now we feel an invigorated sense of support. What just happened after doing this simple routine? What was the outcome of spending this kind of time and intimacy with your body. Kelsey, lower body feels more stable. Kathy, feel more balanced. Lauren, shoulders and hips feel charged. It's really, I love the word charged because our body is literally like a battery, but it's not like a battery. When we use it, we deplete it. Oftentimes, using it electrifies and amplifies. It gets our whole system rejuvenated and going. It's amazing. Katie, I think I feel less knock-kneed, probably because the hips are supporting you, so the knees are not collapsing in that valgus position. Jeanette, stronger and taller. Cindy, evenly balanced and feeling extremely loose. Amazing. We didn't stretch. Not once did we stretch. If any of you feel looser, try bending forward. This looseness is coming from support, because when you don't have support, your body's not just going to be loosey-goosey, it's going to become rigid and stiff and tight because your nervous system is detecting a threat and danger when it comes to movement because there's no support. So the more support you have, the more fluid and loose you'll feel. It's like you're gaining nervous system confidence with each and every movement. Guy, feel stronger standing. Amazing. Now everybody walk around. What do you notice with that walk around? What happened to the limp? What happened to the 1 foot that's flopping? What happened to the smoothness? Do we feel heavier? Is it harder to walk? Do we feel all over the place? Do we feel a little smoother, like we're floating a little bit, a little lighter? Jody, more in body, great. Robin, weight is back in hamstrings. Sandra, a little bit of tingling, okay. Robin, soreness but better alignment, circulation too. Catherine, no back pain. Rachel was able to touch the floor from a 6 to 8 inches away before. That's amazing. We haven't even done flexibility training yet. We're just activating the right muscles to move the right joints. That is amazing. Yeah, Christine, maybe let's hold off on squats right now. That could probably be a good strategy until we can get more support from the rest of the muscles. So amazing. Everybody, look at what you are saying by putting the work in. And you've just put work in for the past 3 days. You've felt shifts in your body. This wasn't just about following exercises. This challenge was about challenging you to reconnect and challenge you to learn how to listen to what your body needs and what's really going on here when we can slow down. I've said this before, but it's worth repeating. Healing is not about finding the right expert. It's about learning how to become the expert of your own body. And that's what the movement program's all about. It's not just exercises. It's a roadmap back inwards. It's a system. It's a way to take control of your body and your movement for life. And if you've been nodding along, if you're seeing the value, if you're ready to take the next step, then let's keep this momentum going. And I'll share the link again for you to get started with your free 7-day trial. And you can either grab a discount on the movement program and or bonuses, depending on which option you choose is best for you. And I know many of you, as I saw at the start of the class, yeah, Lori, there is a reason why you keep yawning. We'll get into that in a second. It's called the parasympathetic nervous system activation. This is the rest and relax part that really heals, and it's beautiful. And I love that you're feeling that. I know seeing this chat and seeing the sign up board that many of you have already jumped into the trial. But I'm just curious with everybody here tonight, drop a yes in the chat if that's you. Drop a yes if you're planning on continuing with me. I would love to see who's in. I'll share the link again in case anybody needs it or missed it in their email. And if you're not ready yet, that's okay. Keep what you've learned. Keep moving. And when the time is right, I'll be here for you. Either way, thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up for yourself, for your future self, for taking the step towards a body that works with you and no longer against you. Yes, yes, yes. We got a crew. Amazing. I cannot wait to watch all of you bloom and prosper over the next year. This is going to be incredible. But we'll just take it right now. Let's just take it as a trial right now. For those of you who are ready to continue this work, like I shared in the chat, here is the link to get going. Now, we've covered a lot in the past 3 nights together. Many of you are starting to feel the power of movement. but I know some of you, there's still something in the way. So I want to really have an open, honest, and safe conversation. Let's get really transparent. If you feel like this is helpful, but there's something holding you back from taking the next step, I would love to have an honest chat about what that is. Is it time? Is it money? Is it doubt? Is it doubt in yourself? Not sure if you'll follow through. Is it something else? Drop in the chat. I want to hear from you. Yeah, Elizabeth, we've got great customer support coaches. You can ask questions, show up for the live group coaching workshops. Absolutely. Yeah, Indra, awesome. That's amazing. Yeah, so the trial works. It's a really simple trial. So you basically choose what plan you want, whether it's monthly or annual. You put in your credit card and then you get the trial for free, right? So it's 7 days. Your card doesn't get charged. And then on the seventh day, if you decide to continue, it's automatically charged. If you decide to cancel, we have a really easy cancellation process. So nobody's going to get charged for this trial. It's only if you decide to not cancel that you then get charged for the program, and then we move forward from there, and we can launch that. Diane, I want to continue working, but I need to improve with these basic moves first. That is absolutely one way that you can do this. I want to respectfully acknowledge I need to kind of perfect what I just learned before moving anything. And I fell into the trap for years of like, okay, I've got to get good at this before this happens. I've got to be pain-free before I do this. And what happened was I just kept doing the same things again and again. And the challenge is when there's no progressive load, when we're not continually giving the body a new stimulus, things fall flat. So these routines this week, this is great for neural activation. It is a beautiful step one. But oftentimes it's adding more stimulus, a little bit longer routines, challenging you, not big aggressive challenges, but let's get a couple more muscles to work together. Let's tweak this exercise. Let's progress it here. This is what really helps the body progress over time. You know, it's almost like, let me get good at lifting 5-pound weights before I lift 7.5-pound weights. Well, lifting 7.5-pound weights makes the 5-pound weights easier. So there is some security in taking time with what you've learned. That's very, very valid, which is why I said, I'll be here when you're ready. And there's also truth in, well, giving your body more helps make the stuff that we went over be easier and easier for you. Catherine, how much is the program after 7 days? So we've got two options. You can either sign up for annual access, which is normally $9.99 for the year. For this group, if you enroll by Friday, we're offering 10% off that annual access. Or you can do month to month with no commitment, no contract, nothing like that for $99 a month. We also have bonus programs too, if that's the case. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, money. Okay, money. Look, I completely know that money can feel like a big barrier, and I know there's absolutely nothing I can say that changes that barrier for you. You know, when you're dealing with pain, especially if it's anything like what I was dealing with, you're limited in what you can do for work. It limits your daily life. And so investing in something new can feel like a risk, especially if you've already spent money on things that didn't work. I get it, and I've been there. And that's literally exactly why I created the movement program, because most people who are in pain and they're financially constrained, like I was years after I broke my back and not being able to work, I was in this cycle of paying for relief instead of progress. And that was financially draining. Weekly PT sessions, chiro visits, massage, products that promise to resolve everything, yet we just accumulate under our bed or in our closets. It all adds up. And yet the pain comes back, and so do the bills. And one thing I want to put into context here is if we compare the movement program with what most people spend, which is anywhere between $100 to $250 per session for things like any of the modalities I mentioned, that's just for a visit. And it's for temporary relief at best. You know, the movement program is not another appointment that you have to wait around for. It's an on-demand solution that teaches you when you are ready, whenever you have the time to log in, how to take care of your body every single day. And instead of spending hundreds per month chasing relief, I want to give you these daily customized structured approach for less than what most people spend on one single session for maybe 1 hour of help at most. And again, the most important thing is that you're getting daily help, not just when you have time for that appointment. So if you're asking yourself, can I afford this? With all the love and empathy of where you're at in the world, I have to also gently ask, how much is this already costing you to stay where you are? Not just financially, but in lost time, missed opportunities, and feeling like this smaller version or living life less than. Only you know what's right for you financially. I would never pretend to know your situation better than you do. But what I do know is this: investing in that ability to take care of your body is one of those few things in life that keeps paying you back. And it's why I've poured my entire life into this, because learning how to move better gave me my life back. So all I have for you here is a path forward. And it's one that's here for you whenever you're ready to step into that new way of experiencing life. Yeah, I get it. Rachel, you're so welcome. Diane, totally welcome the skepticism. It would be kind of weird if there was none of that. People don't come to me because what they do has worked. People come to me after many things they've done have not worked for them. I not only invite the skepticism because you deserve that. You have to ask the right questions. You have to be diligent. What am I doing? What is the outcome? What am I going to get from this? And I think that due diligence, most people don't have, which is why we spend so much money and get nothing from it. After big, expensive therapy appointments are done, what are we walking away with? So I totally get it. And that's also why I host these challenges, because I want you to vet me out. What am I saying? Is what I'm saying making sense? Is what I'm saying making sense with your body? Do you have better awareness? Do you have a better sense of what's happening with this problem? Maybe you're not noticing results yet, but does this problem make any more sense? And the only thing that's going to combat or dissolve the skepticism is your feeling and you feeling a change. And the challenge is the only way you can feel a change is by doing it. So I think a lot of people who are in pain like I was, which is we're just like always on the edge. I don't want to go do something that doesn't work, but you also don't know if it works unless you do it. So this really comes down to, I don't want you to have faith in me. I don't want you to have faith in my program. I want you to have faith that your body can actually do this. And if you believe that you're even 1% more aware or a little bit more connected with your body, let your nervous system tell you what to do here. Let your mind be as skeptical as possible. Hold on to the skepticism for a year and keep asking questions and keep learning and keep showing up. And let's watch what happens. That's when the skepticism will melt away. But do it with skepticism. I invite that. Yeah, Susan, I get it that it's great, but because of the situation, you've got no cash and no credit. I cannot empathetically even begin to share how much I understand that position. When I first came to this work, I was 5 years into this. I was broke and I was so pissed that this information was out there and not one person recommended it. I couldn't discover it online. This was like hiding in the corner of Santa Monica with the mentor that I first hired. And when I first had my session, this was like, oh, my life purpose is clear. I've got to get this information out there to as many people as possible. And the really frustrating part for me at that time was I had to learn it first. And the cost that came with learning this information was significant. And I did that selfishly, not only so I could get better, but because I wanted to find out, how do you distribute this information to people where you don't have to spend somebody $250 a session, multiple sessions a week to learn this information. So I've really tried to commercialize and lower the point of access to this information. And I think it's been more affordable than it's ever been to have access to this info. But I understand if it still poses a challenge. I want to be really respectful of that too. Jody, you're so welcome. Thank you, Vinny, for all your commitment to this and the people who are in pain. I hope I can join you one day. When that day comes, I'll be ready. I'll be here for you. Yeah, this is this is on your own time. You know, when I first came to this, I actually first found this therapy because one of my clients gave me this guy's business card. And I was so at my wits' end of trying things. I threw the business card in the back of my car and I left it there for 6 months. And the guy's name who was on that business card actually approached me in a different city because I was grocery shopping and I literally couldn't pull the carton of milk off the shelf. I was in that much pain, wincing doing it. And this guy approached me and handed me his card. So I get the hesitation. I didn't jump on this when I first came across it. I was skeptical and hesitant as hell. And I don't think I would have done that unless the universe like literally forced me down this path by having me meet the gentleman whose name was actually on the card. I've talked about it a lot in podcasts if you want to hear more about the story. What happens in the next 7 days once we have signed up? Guy, I want you to take a look. Anybody who's wondering how the trial works or how the program works once you're a person on the inside of it, I'm going to share the link. Check out the tutorial. I'm going to talk about the assessments. That's where we start. I'm going to thoroughly give you 8 different assessments to go do so you can better understand your body. And then I'm going to give you the movements based on what condition we're here for. Hip issues, back issues, probably a couple of them. So check out the tutorial. It in depth explains exactly how this works. All right, let me check out. I want to see if there's any other, roadblocks that maybe we can talk about as a group. Sandra, thanks for the 3-day workshop. It's been great. Will the replays be available? Yeah, the replay should be available. Maybe my tech team can correct me on this. Probably till Tuesday. Diana, at least you were young. As a 76-year-old senior without enough money to live on, that is the only reason I'm unable to do this. Then take what you've learned, anything of what you've learned, the exercises or positions from this workshop, and carry them as far forward as you can. I hope there was value in this workshop for you by just you showing up. Obviously, as much as I would want you to go dive deeper into the program, I know that's not accessible for everybody. So I hope, my intention of this was not to just give people a free trial. It was to give people help. And I hope this was at least your first step forward. Nobody sat with me for 3 nights and just gave me kind of the rundown. Here's what we do. Here's what goes on. And so I hope that you at least got something from the time that we've spent together. Yeah, Jody, you can do these exercises a couple times a day. My expectation is that you do it once a day. Let's start there. And if you can build a sustainable habit where you can do it once every day, double down and do it twice. I don't want you to burn yourself out. I don't want you to all of a sudden do it 5 times a day, get better, and then there's like no habits or lifestyle changes, and then we're right back where we started. So you're going to get better. This is going to work for you. We just have to we're playing the long game here. So commit to once a day. As long as you check that box, yeah, do it another time if that's available for you. You can see the replay in the same areas the same way that you log into the live classes. There should be like a day 1, day 2, and day 3 replay. Let's see. Yeah, Leonie, thank you so much for saying that. Lauren, I want to learn the methodology so I can help people like Diane. I am retired and have intentions to help others. Yeah, I think probably, and it's probably been like two or 3 years since I ran this data. About 20 to 25% of the members in this program are other practitioners, whether massage, PT, or chiros. And it's just people not only trying to learn this for themselves, but to also help the people that they care about, or integrate some of these teachings into their own practice for more of a complete solution. Because remember, most therapy is passive. Most therapists are just doing work to people's bodies. And this is that bridge for people to start doing the work themselves. So a lot of practitioners have found giving chiropractic adjustments and then these pain academy routines at home to stabilize, maintain, and reinforce those adjustments. Those are key. Same thing for massage therapists as well. Sean, if you start monthly, can you switch to year long? Reach out to our team. We'll help you out. We'll figure it out. In these challenges in the past, I've only offered annual because that's what most people do. They get into this thing for like a month or two, and it's like, I don't want to pay for this monthly. I just want the full thing. My tech team says they'll help you out. So I used to only offer annuals, but I also didn't want to restrict people who really could only afford the monthly to still have their name in the game. Laura, thanks for saying that. Really appreciate that. You recognize my sincerity and that it's coming through. I can't say it enough times. Like I've been there. I started this workshop saying I became credentialed. I read all the books. I learned about all this stuff. But what taught me about pain was my experience with my back. And I understand when it's hovering over every single thing that you do. And the way that needs to be approached, I am the practitioner and the mentor, and I've created the program that I needed when I was going through hell. And so I really appreciate you feeling that sincerity. This is really important and it matters. I can't even begin to tell you, I've got a son who's special needs, and the amount of times that I couldn't lay in the hospital bed with him, the amount of times I literally couldn't hold him to calm him down. He's got this condition where he has some 2,000 to 3,000 seizures a day. It is exhausting as a parent, as a father, to witness this, and not being able to hold him and soothe him, pick him up off the ground, like that killed my soul. And so this isn't about pain. This is about like what that pain prevents people from doing and living. And that's why I do this, because I never want anybody to have to like look at their child or to look at a thing that they want to do. And I know this sounds like dramatic, but it's like sitting inside when it's raining out with your head like against the glass pane. It's depressing. It's sad. And I don't want that for anybody anymore. Deborah, no, I didn't. Did I create these exercises or are these standard? They're not standard. Everything that I teach you is a compilation of a lot of different places, a lot of different credentials that I've acquired. I've learned all these little nuances and tips and positions and exercises. And it's how I teach them that makes these exercises often pretty different. I'm sure people have done a lot of these things before, butt squeezes and pelvic tilts, but it's like here's how you think, and here's what you need to focus on. Here's how we do somatic tracking. Here's how we parent ourselves, and here are the words that we say over and over. I mean, this is what I think really separates this work. And it's the cues, it's the structure of the program. That's the accumulation of everything that I've learned over the past some 16 years since I broke my back. I thank you all for saying that about my son. It's definitely a hard thing to share, but it's real, and you all are going through real things, and I think the more I can be vulnerable, as hard as it is, because I want to be like mindful of his privacy. But that's my experience of it. And I think the more I can be vulnerable with you, the more you're going to see that this is like a real thing made by a real person who's been through real stuff before, just like all of you are going through. And my story isn't bigger than yours. It's not more important than yours. We're all having this human experience through this. And I've found a really beautiful system that contains that experience and gives you the guardrails and, just puts training wheels on you getting back to life again. Okay, I think I've given everything that I have for you. I think I've done everything I can. Just as a heads up for those of you who are going to join, if you decide to show up for the workshop next week, which we're going to be having that Tuesday for members, Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be doing, I'm going to host a whole workshop on nervous system regulation, what somatic tracking is, how to do it, how you can use it as a tool to change the sensations you feel and your relationship with those sensations. I'm going to talk about how to de-escalate the nervous system so you aren't amplifying pain signals, what past trauma has to do with the way you currently feel, and go over some really simple practical steps on how to begin to unwind that. I'm also going to discuss what neuroplastic pain is, how to differentiate neuroplastic and structural pain. So if you are doing the trial and you do want to show up, I've got a really cool workshop I'm going to go right over the weekend for you. Thank you all for being here, whether you pull the trigger and you're working with me over the next year, or you just showed up for these 3 days. I think each and every person here was positive and you contributed a lot to this. So your involvement, you're asking questions and sharing what happens afterwards. I mean, this was a beautiful challenge. So thank you all for showing up and doing it. I hope I've made at least a little bit of an impact in your life. And I hope I can make an even bigger impact and be really, truly part of your comeback story. That's what I'd love for us. So I'll see as many of you inside the program. Dexter, you're welcome, brother. All right. I could probably sit here and talk for hours. I do every week. So I'll see you all on the inside. Bye, everybody. Check your email if you need the link again, and we'll talk later. Bye.